first things you need to remember about this play is that it's a pastoral play. It mostly takes place in the forest as opposed to the city. We start out in the court, and that's where most of the first tension begins in the play, the familial tension, and then also the romantic tension. These are tensions that'll exist throughout the play, but they'll finally both be resolved in the country, in the forest of Arden. You need to know, first of all, about the complicated relationships that exist. There are two dukes. The rightful duke is Duke Senior. The usurping duke is Duke Frederick. They are brothers, and they are enemies. There's a second pair of enemies that are brothers, Orlando and Oliver. Orlando is the younger brother, Oliver is the older brother. The older brother withholds the inheritance of the younger brother. Now Duke Senior has a daughter, Rosalind, and Duke Frederick has a daughter, Celia. Rosalind and Celia are best friends, and they remain that way throughout the play. So we have this idea of familial love and familial hate throughout the play. Act 1 is all about relationships. We get introduced to Oliver and Orlando and their feud. In this act, Rosamund and Orlando fall in love after he wins a wrestling match. Duke Frederick banishes Rosamund, but his daughter runs away with her. So Celia and Rosalind decide to run away to the Forest of Arden, where Duke Senior had been banished to. Act 2, everybody's a traveler. The girls are disguised as Ganymede and Alina. But this is for protection. Although Touchstone the Clown goes with them, so I don't know why exactly this is necessary. But it really helps the play be interesting. Duke Freddy suspects Orlando when Alina and Rosamund go missing, so he tells Oliver that he has to find Orlando. Orlando goes on the run, not because he knows about Duke Freddy, but because his servant warns him that his brother is going to kill him. So that's not good. So Orlando meets the Duke in the forest, the Duke Senior, in the rightful Duke in the forest, and he stays with him. And Rosalind and Celia and Touchstone the Clown stay with the shepherds. Act 3, things get a little messy because Duke Freddy tells Oliver that he has 1 year to produce Orlando or he takes all his lands. And by or he meant I have them now and you can't have them back until you find your brother. So much for hoarding them from your little bro. Orlando runs around the forest posting love poems about Rosalind all over the trees. Ganymede, that's Rosalind. Ganymede promises to cure his love sickness. Orlando agrees to come woo Ganymede, who will pretend to be Rosalind. The shepherd Silvius loves shepherdess Phoebe, but she'll have none of him. Ganymede rebukes her, but Phoebe instantly falls and goes gaga for Ganymede. That's awkward. Act 4, it gets sillier. Rosalind loves Orlando. They have a mock wedding, and she loves that. But she's Ganymede, so of course it's not quite real. Of course she gets a love letter from Phoebe, which makes things more complicated. She writes a letter telling Phoebe to marry Silvius, because at least he loves her. Orlando is late to their meeting. Instead, Oliver comes. Why is Oliver in the forest? He comes instead, saying, and he has a full change of heart, magical change of heart. He says that Orlando wrestled with a lion to save him and was wounded in the process. He then wonders why the heck this crazy Ganymede character fainted while he said that. Act 3, and everything's all better. Oliver and Celia are betrothed because they fell in love. Ganymede promises to Orlando that Rosalind will marry Orlando if he wishes. Obviously, he's very happy. Phoebe and Silvius come, and it gets really awkward because Orlando's declaring his love for Rosalind, Silvius is declaring his love for Phoebe, and Phoebe for Ganymede, and Ganymede for no woman. She promises Orlando will have his love. Promises also that tomorrow, if Phoebe still wants Ganymede, then she can have him. If not, she must marry Silvius. Everyone agrees to this. Hymen, the god of marriage, brings Rosalind and Celia as themselves, and everyone gets married. Duke Freddy, who came to the forest to battle Duke Senior, oh no, also had a magical change of heart, and relinquishes the duchy. Duke Senior restores Oliver's land and makes Orlando his heir, and Rosamund encourages the audience to fall in love. The end. There are 4 main themes, and that's familial love versus familial hate, which we talked about before. City life versus country life, we also talked about that. Human experience, there's a character called Jacques, and he presents human experience in a similar way as, similar to, in Oedipus Rex, the riddle of the Sphinx. What walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the midday, and 3 legs in the evening. Except he ends his with the whole life ending in a second childishness, mere oblivion, sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything. We're not exactly sure why he's in the play because he's not very happy. And of course there is the theme of love.